Religious groups are demanding an explanation from NBC for omitting the words "under God" from the Pledge of Allegiance aired during the U.S. Open. NBC has now issued 2 apologies. The broadcast began with a clip of children reciting the oath. "Under God" was edited out, not just once, but twice. Take a look.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, with liberty and justice for all.
Viewers immediately noticed the cut and started posting complaints on Facebook and Twitter. Later in the broadcast, NBC apologized for the omission, saying the network didn't intend to offend anyone. NBC Sports also issued a written apology Monday, calling it a bad decision.
The American Center for Law and Justice defends the pledge in courtrooms across the country. And joining us now is the ACLJ's Policy Director, Jordan Sekulow. Jordan, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
NBC did apologize, but you say it's too little too late. What should NBC do to make up for this?
You know, what's unbelievable, in this apology, the one on air and then the written statement, they never even say what they did wrong. So during the whole broadcast, the final day of the U.S. Open, where people are watching around the world, and this was a great way to show America to the world. And that opening, if you take out the fact that they took out "deleted under God," would have been a very patriotic expression. But when they deleted "under God," and then they apologized 3 hours later, they never said what words were removed, what words were edited out. And so during that whole broadcast, they never uttered the word or words "under God." This was a deliberate decision by NBC, which means you can't just say, "Oh, we're sorry, people noticed and got upset about it." We demand to know 2 things. Why on earth did you think you could edit out throughout the entire Pledge of Allegiance "under God" and not have that notice when you have millions of people watching the final day of the U.S. Open? And number 2, who approved this at NBC? I mean, who actually sat there and said, you know what, we're going to cut "under God" from the Pledge of Allegiance? Everybody watching this right now who thinks, we get mocked sometime for saying that our Judeo-Christian heritage is under attack. Who needs the ACLU or Freedom from Religion Foundation when you've got the NBC sports team?
Wow. You actually say this is selective patriotism.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, listen, if you're not an American and you saw that opening, it seems great. It's like, oh, okay, this is something about America. You know, as a viewer for the first time, maybe overseas, you're saying this is very patriotic. We've got our men and women who are serving, young people in the classroom. But it doesn't fully capture what we're about. It's false advertising. That's not the full Pledge of Allegiance, and you wouldn't know that unless you are a U.S. citizen. And, so I think it is selective patriotism. That's what we see on the left. They will say they are, and the secular groups, the anti-religion groups. I mean, we're not talking about one nation under Christ. This is one nation under God. Think about "God Save the Queen" in the UK, or "O Canada," which mentions God, or Saudi Arabia's flag, which says Allah on it in Arabic. We're talking about a very ecumenical, generic reference to a higher power. It's part of our heritage. It's never offended anyone. It doesn't offend anyone. But NBC will bow down to political correctness and give you their version of the pledge, which is what we hear from the left all the time. Because "under God" was added in 1954, it really shouldn't be there. But the Pledge of Allegiance has actually been changed 5 times over U.S. history, and this has been the pledge since the 1950s.
And what is the ACLJ doing about it? What action are you taking?
Yeah, so what we've decided to do is organize our millions of members, not to sign a petition, but a letter to NBC and the U.S. Golf Association. It's very simple. We want a real explanation, not just a watered-down, tepid apology, which is what we got so far from NBC twice now. So we asked for that. And then second, every broadcaster, just like CBN News, has internal policies. And we would like NBC to announce that they've changed their policies so that their editors, their producers, their production team knows that if you are going to use what appears to be something like the entire Pledge of Allegiance, you don't just cut out words you may not like. Remember, they did it twice in 1 minute and 46 seconds. This wasn't a 10-second, oh, here's students started to say, "I pledge allegiance to the flag," and then moving on. This was 2 times.
Well, we are appreciating your insights this morning. We're certainly keeping our eye on this situation. Jordan Sekulow, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.